Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this live interaction session, and I would urge you to start asking your questions through the chat on YouTube live, and I'll try to respond to your queries as best as I can. We have about roughly 45 to 50 minutes for this session, so kindly make your questions as precise and to the point as possible so that we can answer them unambiguously. Right, it's over to you for your queries. Yeah, hello, welcome. So yeah, the other point I would like to mention is, I know that there are currently 9 weeks that have been uploaded, but in this one we would like to focus primarily on the first 6 weeks, the content that has been covered in the first 6 weeks. And if there are more queries further, we will try to have another interaction session right at the end to cover the entire syllabus. So to reiterate, if there are no questions as such, it would imply that you've probably grasped the essence of whatever we've covered in these lectures, which probably is a good thing. In that case, we'll wrap up pretty soon. Just a reminder, if you have any queries, please don't hesitate at all to reach out, and now is probably the best time to reach out, because I'm available to take your questions real time and to answer them, right? Because later on, when you post probably your queries on the forum, there is often a bit of a delay or lag in us seeing your queries and then subsequently figuring out how to respond, or when those queries come in. We don't really get notification, but right now I'm looking at the screen, so I know real time as and when your queries come in, right? So this is the quickest way to get responses to your queries and your doubts. So we'll wait for a few minutes more, and if there are no other questions, then we will wrap up the session, right? Okay, so there is a question, and I don't really need to put pen to paper to answer this question. So Anjali asks if there are any books which are there to the portions that we covered, and she says that the book by Hoffman and Kunz is a little hard to read along with the lectures. So I would agree that for a starter, Hoffman and Kunz may be a bit of a challenge, but once you've covered the material in this entire course, you should be able to still parse through the information that's given in Hoffman and Kunz. However, the goal is to also keep yourself updated while the course is running real time. So there's the other book by Sheldon Axler titled Linear Algebra Done Right. All right, Linear Algebra Done Right. That book has a lot of solved examples, apart from a whole bunch of problems at the end of every chapter as part of exercises. So particularly tricky portions such as topics such as duals, double duals. Double duals is of course not dealt with there, but if you look at examples, if you just go through Hoffman and Kunz, for instance, you would see proofs about the results pertaining to duals, yeah, and then ideas such as isomorphism. On the other hand, in the book by Sheldon Axler, you will actually see examples. Yeah, examples in very familiar terms, such as you get to see polynomials, the vector spaces of polynomials, the Euclidean space more often than not, sometimes spaces of functions. Yeah, and you actually see how those theorems or those results that we proved in class, they actually help you, or you can apply them to find out, for example, let's say, what is the annihilator? Yeah, so those ideas, if you just go through the abstract concepts, you might feel you've understood the proofs, but it is true that if you try to solve problems based on just an understanding of the proof, it might prove to be a bit of a hurdle. So I sincerely urge you to go through that book. Of course, at a very preliminary level, if you want to solve plenty of problems that deal with more familiar spaces like Euclidean spaces, then there's of course the famous book by Gilbert Strang on linear algebra, right? So that is of course a book you can fall back on. However, I would suggest the book by Sheldon Axler a little more, because the kind of stuff that we cover in this course is not really at a first level of linear algebra, but at a slightly advanced level. And for that, I feel Sheldon Axler's book does the job. Hope that helps you, Anjali. Also for the exams, I would say that you're already getting assignments. Maybe one or two assignment problems might have incorrect answers, some typos or things like that, but we generally try to sort them out at the earliest and get back with the clarification. So we keep an eye on the posts on the forum, right, where our TAs provide clarifications if there are any mistakes. So if you're solving those problems regularly, it should stand you in good stead when you're appearing for the final exam at the end of the course, right? So do attempt those questions, do take them seriously. That should pretty much help you sail through this course, right? Good luck. So we'll wait for 3 to 4 minutes more. If there are any queries, I'll take them and I'll try to answer them. If there are no queries in the next 3 to 4 minutes, then we'll probably wrap up this session with the hope that we'll also have another interactive session right at the end of this course when you can ask further doubts, because the coming few weeks are going to be even more important. We're going to delve into eigenvalues, eigenvectors, and we already started covering them. And we'll also be covering the very celebrated Jordan canonical form along with a proof thereof. Once again, for that purpose, you should find it convenient to go through the book by Sheldon Axler. Yeah, we have tailored much of the proof for the Jordan canonical form based on the presentation in Sheldon Axler's book. However, not everything is presented in the same manner as it is there in that book. So if you follow the lectures regularly and solve the problems in the assignments, the weekly assignments, that should be the recipe for success. Okay, so since there are no further queries, maybe it's time we brought this session to a close. Thank you to those of you who have attended this session, and Jai Hind to Nitesh Pandey. And yeah, so we'll wrap it up with a promise that if there are further queries at your end that keep piling up in the forums, we will meet again perhaps after the course is over for another interactive session. Do keep your questions coming in the meantime through the forums, as well as hope to see you again soon at the end of the course in some 3 to 4 weeks time from now. Okay, good evening.